And thank you for joining us for today's DealerOn webinar, where Jim Ziegler lays out the career path to management. My name is Eliana Raggio, and I'll be your moderator today. And today's webinar is being presented by DealerOn. For anyone who isn't familiar with DealerOn, well, we're an award-winning website development company and digital agency best known for our amazing SEO, the best customer service, and the highest converting website designs in the industry, including the award-winning Chameleon responsive website platform. We got back from NADA recently, and we were awarded the Driving Sales Dealer Satisfaction Award for top-rated websites for an unprecedented 6th year in a row. We also took home the AWA Award for Best Websites, plus FCA announced that we're now an approved vendor. 2017 is looking bright. We're still the only company in the industry that offers a money-back lead guarantee program. Do you want to know more? Yeah, you do. You can check us out at DealerOn.com. And DealerOn is headed to Tampa next week for the upcoming Digital Dealer Convention, April 11th through the 13th. We're bringing some serious heat. First, we're giving away $50 for pre-scheduling a demo at the show. That's not all. Sean Raines and Greg Gifford will be there too, giving in-depth presentations to rock your world. Stop by booth 411. And Greg Gifford's going to hand you a hard copy of his new book that he wrote on local SEO. People, it is 60-plus pages of awesome. So remember, it's booth 411. I'll be there, and I would love to see you there. Hope you can make it. We have a great show in store for you today. We're very pleased to have the one and only Jim Ziegler as our presenter today. James A. Ziegler, also known as the Alpha Dog, is a recognized industry thought leader, best-selling author, magazine columnist, and a certified speaking professional. Over the last 4 decades, Ziegler has done business with more than 15,000 dealerships, and more than 100,000 dealers, managers, and factory executives have attended Jim's seminars. Traveling 200 days a year, he's worked in more than 1,000 showrooms at no less than 200 cities in 49 states. Yeah, he hasn't quite made it to Alaska yet. A celebrity speaker in the U.S. auto industry, Ziegler is known for his high-energy, controversial, top-rated keynote speeches, national convention workshops, and in-dealership hands-on training. He's been the featured keynote speaker for 80 state automobile dealer association annual conventions and has been consistently rated as a top speaker at 12 national NADA conventions. Jim is often quoted as an industry expert by news outlets such as Reuters, Automotive News, USA Today, Bloomberg, Dow Jones, Entrepreneur Magazine, and CNN, just to name a few. He's the author of the best-selling book, The Prosperity Equation, and he can be reached at zieglerss@aol.com. Now, Jim Ziegler will be talking at the upcoming Digital Dealer Convention as well, where he will be presenting an executive session titled 20 Things I Would Do Immediately If I Bought Your Dealership. You are not going to want to miss that. Now, during this presentation, if you have any questions, please use the question feature located on the corner of your screen to submit them. At the end of the presentation, we'll answer those questions of general interest. If we're unable to get to your question live, we're going to try to respond by email later today. Don't forget, a link to download a copy of this webinar recording will also be emailed to you later today for your reference. Please feel free to share it with your friends and colleagues. Ooh, and guess what? Woo! Our good friends over at Ziegler Super Systems, they're giving away an amazing prize today. Only one lucky attendee is going to win 2 free tickets to either the upcoming Sales Manager Seminar or the upcoming Samurai F&I Seminar, or you know what? Both. The seminars will be Chicago, May 16th and 17th for the Samurai F&I, and May 18th and 19th for the Sales Manager Seminar. These tickets are $1,000 a piece. This is a tremendous prize for your dealership. You have to be on the live broadcast to win it, though, so stay tuned. And who knows, you might be the one walking away with this super cool prize today. Also, at the conclusion of this webinar, you're going to get a short survey. So fill it out, because we're always looking for quality feedback from our audience. We want to hear what you have to say. And hey, do you tweet much? We hope you do. We'd love to see what you have to say about today's presentation, so please tag us in it. You can use hashtag DealerOnWebby. I'm at Eliana Raggio. You can also hit up Jim Ziegler at, you guessed it, Jim Ziegler. We look forward to seeing what you're saying. All right, everyone, let's get started. Let's listen in as Jim Ziegler lays out the career path to management. Jim Ziegler, how are you, sir? It's been a while since you've been on my show. So glad to have you back. You've been so busy doing all this kind of stuff, the seminars and the speaking gigs, and I'm so glad you carved out some time for me today on our show.
It's amazing. I'm slowing down.
Oh, you call this slowing down, do you?
What wife I'd slow down. I swear I did. But people just keep throwing money at me, and I can't help myself.
Well, thank goodness. I'm just going to tell the audience, if you've been on my show, you've been following what we do here, then you know that I have never, ever done a show this topic, not even close. So, Jim, I'm really excited about this topic, and I just want you to know, um, the people that are here today are really serious about management. Because I, believe it or not, Jim, and I didn't tell you this, I saved this for the show. I didn't tell you this, but I actually had a number of people who said, I'm actually not interested in going into management. I'm perfectly happy being a salesperson, and so I won't be attending, this week's webinar. And hey, it's not for everyone. Management isn't for everyone, right, Jim?
There's nothing wrong with being a career salesperson. I mean, and you can make tremendous money. But there are certain people that want to be in the management end of the business. They want to advance their careers, and that's what I'm talking about today. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. I know you have a lot to get to. Where do we begin? How do we start on our yellow brick road to management?
Well, I'm one of the few national trainers that actually ever was a manager. It's interesting. A lot of the national trainers in our business today were great salespeople, but they never crossed over to the other side. And so the objectives of today's meeting, is that where we're at?
Yes, please. Let's tell
How do you,
everyone everything that we're going to
how,
be learning about today.
how do you prepare for a management career in automotive retail? I hear that more than ever. And a lot of people don't know if they're qualified. Are you qualified for the position that you are looking for? What do you want to do? I hear people every day, I'm going to be a dealer someday. Well, what preparation have you done to do that? What steps have you done to become qualified? Have you communicated your career objectives to advance into management to the decision makers at your dealership? And one thing I have to say, are you in a dealership where advancement is available? If it's a family-owned dealership and there are 4 family members in management already, chances are slim. And of course, once again, let's mention I'm giving away 2 tickets to attend my management seminars that are coming up in May. I'm really excited about that. Okay, the fastest path in automotive retail, although it's not a sure thing, is to be the son or daughter of a dealer. Or marry the son or daughter of a dealer. Who would have guessed? If you can't be the son or daughter of a dealer, maybe you can marry one of the sons or daughters. But let's assume that you are not born into the business. What is the path to becoming a career manager, and what management opportunities are available? Well, of course, there's new car sales manager, lease manager, F&I manager, F&I director, pre-owned sales manager, BDC internet directors, general sales manager, general manager, dealer principal, owner, and operating partner. I mean, you've got so many paths on that road, and so many people don't know where to start, what to do first. Now, I got into management strictly by accident. I met my smoking hot trophy wife, Debbie, in 1982 when I was selling cars. Later away, I made more money on that deal, but I put her in a ditch. I made so much money.
Wait. She came in and bought a car?
Yeah, and I made $3,200 front side gross. And then I ended up making
Wait, you
every
remember
payment.
how much you made
I
off
ended
of
up making all the payments. I made every payment myself. Pissed me off. I never would have made that much money if I'd have known I was going to pay that car off.
The fact that you remember how much you made off of your soon-to-be wife's car, you're so funny.
Her parents were kind of affluent, and when we finally got around to talking marriage, she said they're going to have trouble with me marrying a car salesman. I said, well, would it be better if I was a manager? She said, well, yeah. So I went to the dealer, Brack Greer, and I said, hey, Brack, listen, I need to be a manager. And he sent me to F&I school, and that's how I got into it. So that point forward, as an F&I manager, I set some records, but I had higher aspirations. And, I peaked out at general sales manager. I never was a general manager. And the only reason for that is I didn't know fixed operations, and I didn't care to know fixed operations. that wasn't my forte. And to be a general manager, you have to be well-rounded in all departments and profit centers of the dealership. So I peaked out at general sales manager, but I was over several stores. And I had a written path to management. I actually had legal pads in those days. We didn't have the technology, but I had legal pads filled with notes and schemes and dreams and things I was going to do and how I was going to progress into management. And today people, and God bless you millennials, but
Bless their little hearts. What do you keep saying?
But these millennials, they want to come in, so many of them, not all of them. I mean, I'm not going to package anybody in a box, but so many millennials today, they want to come in and run the place day one. Okay, when do I become the manager? When do I become the dealer? And they're looking for that in the next 3 weeks. You have to invest time and you have to invest expertise to arrive at, and that's the progression I'm looking at. Now we're up for a poll question right now. I'd like you to ask the first poll question, Eliana.
That sounds like a great idea. All right, audience, we have 2 poll questions today. First one's coming in nice and early. It's on the screen now. We want to know now, it's just us, just between us. Tell us, what is your ultimate management career goal? We want to know. Now, as you heard me say before, some people don't want to go into management. Perfectly fine, okay? But I assume if you're here, you have a management career goal. We would just want to know, which one is it? Do you want to be an F&I director? Do you want to be a general sales manager, a general manager, an operating partner, or you want to be the big boss and become a dealer principal? Who knows? Maybe even own more than one dealership, a slew of dealerships. Once we figure that out, we're going to close this poll and share the results. All right. Oh, the votes are coming in nice and fast. I love this. Audience, you guys are great.
I love people that know their mind. So the poll questions are coming in. How soon will we know the answers?
Once I stop the poll, if you are ready for the votes are still coming in, so I don't want to stop it just yet. But the votes are still coming in. Come on, people.
Continue while the poll runs, or what do you want to do?
And
I'm loving
it's
this.
just our little secret. It's just between us.
Okay, we've got the poll running right now. You're going to announce the results in a couple minutes.
I'm going to announce them in about a couple seconds, really.
Okay.
All right. Almost everyone has voted now. So, Diamond Jim, if you're ready, I will close this poll and share
Diamond
the
Jim,
results.
I'm going to call that in your ears. Okay, go.
And just so you know, yes, we are talking about your ultimate management career goal. So if you have an immediate career goal, okay, but that might not be like your ultimate career goal. You got to take steps, right? So we're looking for your ultimate career goal, all right? All right, here we go. Let's close this poll, share the results. Okay, 8% of today's audience say they would like to be an F&I director. 10% of today's audience say general sales manager has their name written all over it. 21% of today's audience say GM, a general manager and nothing less. A quarter of today's audience, a solid 25, say operating partner sounds just right for me. But the majority, 37% of today's audience, well, they want to be the big boss and be a dealer principal. Does that sound right to you?
It's amazing. That is the exact path I would recommend for somebody wanting to get to the dealer level. It started out, if I heard you correctly, F&I director was the first stop.
Yes, sir.
General sales manager was the second stop.
Yep.
The third stop was general manager.
Yes.
Operating partner, and then dealer.
That's it.
And that's what I'm going to recommend in this. What is your F&I is the most prestigious job in the dealership. I used to get so pissed off when people told me I got promoted to sales manager. You got what? You took a big step backwards, pal. And let me continue on with this thing a second. I'm having a good time.
Yes, I know you are.
Here we go. Just because you are a great salesperson, that alone does not necessarily mean you're qualified or that you're capable, or that you have what I call the management mindset, or that you even deserve to be a manager. Management mindset is going to be a big part of what I talk about today. So many people never make it into management because they have an employee mindset and they haven't crossed over in their thinking to start thinking in terms of what's good for the house, what's good for management. And you have to really divorce yourself. I see so many young managers that have just become a manager that used to be on the sales force, and they're dealing with a bunch of people that they're now supervising that used to be their friends. And they have to learn to cross over to the other side, because a manager has three duties. You are a supervisor, you are a manager, and you are a leader. There's three distinct parts to your job description. Leadership is very important, but supervision is more important. To be able to supervise people that you used to be a salesperson with. So there's a lot more to becoming a sales manager than just becoming a desk manager. People tell me all the time, well, Jim, I'm going to be a desk manager. Desk manager is very one-dimensional.
What is that? Do you manage desks?
Well, what desk manager is basically the manager that serves the figures to the salesperson to serve to the customer.
Oh.
And a lot of people confuse that with being the sales manager. And a lot of people who should be the sales manager are actually just a desk manager. You know, a sales manager, you've got to have a number of skills: supervising, scheduling, displaying inventory. There's a lot of things you have to do other than desk deals. And just because you're good at working the figures and negotiation does not necessarily mean you are qualified, that you have the management mindset or the temperament to be a sales manager. A sales manager is an all-rounded position. But now this goes right back to your poll. Look at the screen. I suggest you begin your journey into management in the F&I office. We know, depending on whose research you believe, I'm not a big believer in analyst or analysis, you know. What are the first words of analyst? The first four letters, A-N-A-L. I mean, you know, I'm not an, you know, I feel the truth. I don't have to measure it with, you know, analytics. F&I requires more skills, more schools, more specialized training in our industry than any job in the dealership, except the technicians that turn the wrenches. I mean, we got more skills, more schools. To be an F&I manager, you have to be a precision closer. You learn to close with a stopwatch running. So if 90% or more than 90%, depending on which analyst you believe, J.D. Power, NADA, no matter who you believe, in the 90s of percentages, consumers are buying their cars based on finance, based on the monthly payment amount, the lease payment, based on the interest rate. I mean, finance is the basis for everything that happens in the variable departments of a dealership. Now, as I stated earlier, I have no expertise in fixed operations. So this webinar is focused at people in the variable operation, the sales departments. But F&I is you cannot be a general manager, you cannot be an effective dealer if you do not have a working knowledge of F&I, and especially if you haven't personally done it. So I would suggest everybody that's aiming to be a sales manager, and if I had to take another poll, 90% of salespeople that want to be in management are aiming for sales management and skipping the idea that they have to start out in finance. And not just because I was only a sales manager for 1 year. I was a finance manager for 6. And all the records I personally set in the business were in the F&I office. You know, I was a great sales manager, I think, and I was a great salesperson, but I wasn't record setting. F&I is where I actually learned the business, and it's what I rely on today. Most general sales managers and most general managers have a background in F&I. That's a fact. And without a F&I foundation in your career, very few desk managers ever advance to top management without F&I. If you're going to be a desk manager, there's nothing wrong with being a desk manager. I know some great desk managers that are going to spend their whole career sitting on the desk serving up numbers, but they're not sales managers.
And it's funny that you say that. Yeah, Wendell actually wrote in, and he says there's a lot of sales managers out there that should just be desk managers. They're not really sales managers.
Imagine that. Wendell was a bright man. You're a friggin' genius, Wendell. You know, let's face it. There's so many people out there that think they're sales managers and they are just glorified desk managers. They never learned the rest of their job: planning, evaluating, coordinating, organizing, displaying inventory. They never learned training. They never learned personnel. They never learned any of the other skills to being a full-fledged, effective sales manager. You have to have experience as an F&I director. Now, you see, an F&I manager and an F&I director are two different positions. Now, there's one F&I director. There might be 3 or 4 people who are F&I managers under that director. And the director is the person that's special. And if it's a smaller dealership, that might be one position because there's only one F&I person in the whole dealership. But if you're in a bigger environment, the F&I director is going to have several F&I managers working for them. And the F&I director is who's going to work with the banks, negotiate the banking deals, get the contracts cashed, rehash the deals with the banks that they turned down or condition. So if you're going to advance in a larger dealership, you probably have to have experience as an F&I director. Now, there's lots of F&I schools out there. I seem to believe personally I have the best one, but for the basics, oh, I know that for a fact. Who am I? You know, but
This is no time for you to be humble, Jim, really.
Eliana, humility is something I've never been accused of. I was doing a speech in Tampa last year. I had about 200 people in the audience. I said to somebody, "Hey, did you notice this Rolex?" He said, "Yeah." So you were supposed to.
Oh, jeez. By the way, this line of information that you're putting out here right now, it's actually got a lot of response from today's audience. So if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to throw out a few things. For instance, AJ wrote in.
Please.
Okay, AJ wrote in, when Jim and I started, we were our own desking managers. There was no such thing as desk managers. And then
No.
AJ went back to say, you know, when you started talking about sales managers, that they also need to be good at supervising and leading, you know, and desking managers certainly don't do that. Jen Briggs wrote in, #strategy. She's all about that. And then Tim wrote in, sales manager desk the deals and get the deal approved with the banks. They have to have some sort of F&I experience or they will fail.
Well, honestly, I don't want desk managers working the banks. I know some
No,
dealerships
yeah.
use that model, but my model,
Sales managers, yeah.
if I were the dealer principal, or if I were the general manager, I would have F&I managers working the banks, not the sales manager. They're not prepared to do that in my thinking. But there are dealerships that they throw it into dealer track. They throw it into what's the other one? I forgot. Anyway, they'll throw it into dealer track or Route 1, and they take whatever callback they get. I teach F&I managers to work the banks and work the banks intelligently. And
Yeah.
that is a skill that is rapidly disappearing in our age of technology. Our F&I people do not know how to work the banks. They just accept the technology callback, and they don't structure the deals to get approved. And I teach that in my F&I schools. But yeah, I disagree with that. So that's okay. Nobody disagrees with me all the time, and I don't ever fault somebody for not agreeing with me. That's not a requirement.
Okay, well, let me just keep going because, like I said, we had a lot of people who wrote in. Jesse wrote in. Oh my goodness, we have so much. I have to scroll up. He says that's a big problem in smaller stores. You have desk managers that are given too much responsibility. Ron went on to say, desk managers don't respect the F&I department, so that's why gross and profit fail. They do not work as a team. Jen Briggs wrote, shotgunning deals does not benefit the dealership. #know your programs. And Chris says F&I should know the banks better than any desk or sales manager, so they should always be the ones working the banks.
Let me say something about that. F&I managers got more skills, more schools, more specialized training than anybody except the technicians. And most sales managers learned their job by watching somebody that got fired.
Ouch. Look at you throwing down the gauntlet. What?
I've got one of the very few sales manager schools out there. There's dozens of F&I schools, but I have very little competition with my F&I, with my sales manager school because nobody's teaching it. It's incredible. And, and nobody's qualified to teach it. Like I say, most of my competitors in the training business never were managers. I'm one of the very few that had a successful management career. And they were great salespeople, but they were not managers, and they don't teach from that management mindset.
All right, Jim, we got to get back to this because
Yeah,
we have
okay.
a lot of people who are wondering how to take that next step. So I'm
Okay.
pretty sure you have it in here somewhere.
Avoid politics and drama. There are so many people that think the way to become a manager is by attacking your current managers and putting them down and talking about how incompetent they are and trying to embarrass them and draw attention to yourself. No matter how many cars you sell, nobody wants to put up with a prima donna with an immature drama. And if you really want to be a manager, get out of the politics, get out of the bathroom meetings, get out of the drama that the other salespeople are creating. Don't criticize the dealership. Don't attack the house. Get out of the gossip. Avoid politics and drama completely, or you'll never be promoted. You might be the most competent person in the world. I would fire you before I'd promote you. And I've been in top management positions.
Now, that got a lot of response. People are like, "Amen, preach! I freaking love Jim Ziegler." So,
Well, this is the mindset, the management mindset. Oh, well, damn, Jim, the man sells 30 cars a month. I'll fire his ass and get five that sell 6 each and give him a bad reference. I don't put up with that. Yeah.
all right, let's keep going.
Moving on. So you want to be a general sales manager before you ever paid your dues. Okay, to be a general sales manager, do you fully understand inventory, ordering, and control? Do you know what cars are moving, what cars to order, what color, what equipment combinations? Most people that want to be a general sales manager have no clue how to order cars. So one of the first things you have to do is inventory control. One of the most important things, especially pre-owns. You can get in more trouble in the pre-owned department and put a dealership under immediately if you don't understand it. You can't trust your used car manager to do that, because used car managers always have the one attitude: boss, I can't take that car to the auction. I can sell my way out of it. No, you can't. Some bitch has been there 60 days. Don't dump it. I mean, you as a general sales manager, and that was the highest position I ever received, or achieved. You've got to fully understand inventory ordering. Do you know advertising, marketing, internet? Do you have respect for the internet department and the BDC? Now, there's this turf war happening between the BDC, the internet department, and the sales managers, and old school, new school. I hate old school, new school. It's all just school. The road to the sale didn't die. We just incorporated technology into the road to the sale. We modernized the road to the sale. There's still got to be a track our people run on. Have you mastered all of the reporting in your CRM? You can't be a general sales manager if you can't read a financial statement and the CRM. The CRM is the heartbeat of the dealership. It is the culture of the dealership, and you need to make your people marry the CRM. They've got to be attached to the CRM. The CRM has to rule. Well, old Joe can't do the CRM, but then old Joe can't stay here. Old Joe isn't technological. Well, old Joe's about to retire. Do you have used car experience? Used cars is the ultimate qualification to be a general sales manager. Used cars can kill a dealership or make a dealership quicker than anything. We're not making money on new cars. I mean, new cars are something we sell to get the service business. And and I see people giving new cars away trying to reach a stair-step bonus. One of my dealers one day said, "Well, Jim, the stair-step bonus, the manufacturer told us it was a carrot on a stick. We caught it one time. It was just a dog turd painted orange." You get that? Okay. Do you have the mastery and leadership to manage other managers? A general sales manager is the manager of the managers. And you have to, when I see a manager jump off the sales desk and go close every deal for the salesperson, that's not a great manager. You're doing their job for them. I work through my people. I don't work for my people. Once I've trained them, I'll help a brand new employee, and I will close deals. But when I got an experienced salesperson, I have to close every deal for them. I got a problem. You know, you work through your people. You elevate your people. You don't do their job for them and keep them at a level. One of the primary objectives of all management positions is to elevate your people. I tell salespeople in meetings all the time, I am not your pal. I'm not your buddy. I hope you like me, but liking me is 100% optional. Respecting me is part of your job description. I am in charge. And my job is to help you to make a better living and to help you to take a good lifestyle home to your family and the people you care about. My job is to make your life better because you work for XYZ dealership. That's my job. My job is to cause you to be a success. And sometimes that is not popular. I'm going to put you into undue levels of stress, but you will always appreciate me on payday because your family will have a better lifestyle, your kids will have a better education, you'll live in a better home, you'll drive a better car, and you'll be debt-free because you work for me. That's what I tell my salespeople. We have another poll question. Look at this. You ready?
That was good stuff you just put out there right there. Okay, audience, our last poll question is on the screen now. We want to know what's happening at your dealership. That's what this question's all about. We want to know, how heavily does your dealership currently invest in their employees' management training? Please select one of the following. Do you feel that they invest in your management training very heavily, that they're always looking to promote from within? Do you feel that they invest somewhat, but you know what? If you want to get into management, you really have to push for it? Do you feel it's not much, and that there's some dealerships out there, if you want to be in management, they actually ask you to pay for it yourself?
Ooh.
So is that the kind of dealership you're at? What about hardly at all? And boy, I really wish they would invest in us. And then the last answer is never. They don't want to train us only to have us leave. And yes, there is that mindset out there in some dealerships where they feel that they don't want to invest in their employees learning stuff and then taking that information and doing it for someone else. So, by the way, lots of people have been writing in amazing comments. Yes, we do have some great questions. So audience, you have questions for the one and only Jim Ziegler, please get those questions in. But we've had some really wonderful comments too. So we're going to hit up those as well, Jim, when the time is right. But some of them are really good. I know you are.
You know the only thing worse than training your people and having them leave?
Tell me.
Not training them and having them stay.
You got all the zingers today. You brought them all with you, Jim.
That was Zig's comment. I loved it. I knew Zig quite well.
Okay. Somebody did write in. He said, I actually don't know how heavy my dealership invests in employee management training. I would have to ask my F&I managers and up. So
that's the first step.
That's the first step, I suppose. All right. If you're ready, and audience, thank you so much for your votes. Let's close this poll and share the results and see. How heavily does our audience's dealership currently invest in their employees' management training? All right, 20% of today's audience say very heavily. They're always looking to promote from within. But that's only 20%. So that's 1 out of 5, right? Okay, 39%, that's the majority, say somewhat, but we really have to push for it. Does that surprise you?
So many people never go to a seminar, a sales seminar or a management seminar, because they are afraid to ask the dealer or the general manager. They're afraid to. They don't even want to approach it with the decision makers. You're the reason you're not trained, because you didn't go and ask the decision maker to let you attend the conference, the seminar, or whatever.
Right. Okay. Not all of it can be put on the salespeople, though. Come on. Okay, 5%, a mere 5% said not much. We actually have to pay for it ourselves. But another large majority, 32%, said hardly at all. And boy, I really wish they would invest in us. 32%, that's a third of dealerships.
We have such high turnover. One of the reasons is people view it as a dead end job. I've dealt with hundreds of thousands of salespeople, hundreds of thousands. And I got to tell you right now, the mindset from coast to coast, rural, suburban, urban, wherever, this is a this is a job I'm going to do till I can find a better job. 50% more. I can't put a real number on it because I don't know, but it's a large percentage of people are just selling cars till they can get a better job in their mind. They don't understand this is the good job because they
Yeah.
don't see any career path. They don't see any elevation. They don't see that they're going anywhere because the dealership has not laid out a career path for them.
Okay. By the way, the remaining 5% answered the last choice, which was never. They don't want us to train. They don't want to train us only to have us leave. And just so you know, AJ wrote in, if you don't ask, you can't get. And then Chris wrote in, if you are terrified of the people leaving, you should probably take a good look in the mirror. So,
I agree with that. You ready to continue?
yes, sir, absolutely.
Okay, pre-owned used car management. It is certainly possible to achieve a position in top management without used car experience, but you'd better understand the value of a car. If you don't know the value of a car, or your dealership doesn't know the value of a car, if you don't know how auctions work, if you don't understand inventory aging and safeguard policies to avoid theft, and I hate to say it, but when there's theft in a dealership, it usually occurs through the pre-owned department. If you want to advance to top management, you have got to understand how used cars work. You've got to understand the value of a car. You've got to have safeguards, to be sure that the theft is not occurring. You've got to have inventory aging policies that are hardcore. And you've got to have the technology tools, the auction tools, and the vAuto or something like vAuto. And I'm I love vAuto and I hate vAuto. I would never use vAuto the way that Dale Pollock says to use it, but I'm telling every dealer that I have, buy vAuto or something like vAuto. First look, whatever. Get something like vAuto so when you're out there buying cars, if there's an abundance of a certain model that say there's a bunch of Camry LEs in the market, I'm not going to go buy a Camry LE if there's 5,000 of them in my market for sale. So buying cars, it's a great tool. Pricing cars, I would not use it. I want to give a used car a fighting chance to make a profit before I low price it, and I'm going to use it as an exit strategy to get rid of inventory that's 60 days old. I am a manager that believes totally in a 60-day turn, regardless. If it didn't sell, we're not going to sell our way out of it. No matter what the pre-owned manager tells me, we're out of here. That
Hmm.
car is gone, even if I can't replace it for the same money we're in it. So pre-owned manager, if you're going to be a general manager, dealer principal, and operating partner, you've got to understand used cars. You can never be a dealer or go to top management if you don't understand pre-owns. And I hope some people are writing in some comments on that. General sales manager, general manager, operating partner. Now, operating partner, the best way to break into general management to become an operating partner, because most people don't have the money, most people don't have the immediate education to be a dealer, and what you have to do is find a dealer that has multiple stores that's looking for general managers to operate the stores while they're learning to be better general managers, and you're actually using that dealer's money. I'll give you a good example. My good friend Keith Orr down in Texas, he has a number of operating partners. And I mean, it is incredible. Ed Bozarth out in Denver's got 5 or 6 stores that have operating partners. There's a lot of dealers out there that have operating partners that can generally buy into the dealership. They can increase their ownership amounts, percentages by buying in, and eventually they can buy out the dealership. The Keffer dealerships did that. I know a number of dealers now that are standalone dealers that started with the Keffer organization. So there's a lot of dealers that have those partnerships available. You got to find one, but you got to be qualified first. Just don't go say, look, I've been a desk manager for 10 years and I'm qualified to be a dealer, general manager. No, you're not. You're a desk manager. Go back and get some skills. Excuse me. General manager, operating partner, or dealer principal. The number one top management skill set most people are unprepared for is your ability to read, understand, and take action based on interpreting the numbers on a financial statement. If you can't read a financial statement, you are not qualified. I mean, a financial statement, all departments of the dealership. Now remember, I don't know a thing about fixed operations, but I would hire experts that do. I would hire a competent fixed operations director, and I would join a 20 group that would tell me if my numbers were in line, and I would probably hire a consultant. I always hire consultants to fill in the gaps to what I don't know. If you're going to be a general manager, a dealer, you've got to be able to look at your financial statement and say, this is out of line. If you can't read a financial statement, you are not qualified. And that's one qualification that so many people skip and never take the time to learn. Remember, most dealers' sons and daughters and the people that married the dealers' sons and daughters went to the NADA management school, they went to Northwood, they went to an educational institution that taught them these skills. You've got to pick up these skills on your own or get to one of those institutions. Okay. Now, Eliana, we're to the action items part of the webinar. Define your goals. Now, the first thing that you have to do if you intend to become a manager is you've got to outline what you think your career path is going to be based on your environment. Now, if the pond you're in is too small, I'm not telling people to quit your dealership, but you got to make an assessment. Is there advancement opportunity where you are? And you have to set a reasonable time frame. When I became a manager, I knew it was going to take me 3 years. I knew from the time I was a top salesperson, and I was never beaten as a salesperson ever. I was not the world record-setting salesman, but I was always the top salesman wherever I was. Set a reasonable time frame. How long is it going to take you to become a manager? You know, and you've got to have an objective self-assessment. You have to know yourself. Do you have the right temperament? Do you have the management mindset? Are you suitable for this position? Only you know that. You know, in my seminars, I said, this is not a tent revival. You don't need to stand up and feign or confess, but you got to tell yourself the truth. What management skills do you need? I knew I had to be an F&I manager. I knew I had to be a sales manager. I knew I had to be a general sales manager before I could ever start Ziegler Super Systems. I didn't want to be a dealer until I could. Take that back. I wanted to be a dealer until I was capable. When I finally had enough money to be a dealer, I didn't want to do it anymore. So I went the path of becoming a consultant in the car business. But I had a path laid out, and it had steps in my progression when I was going to do that. We're to that point, kid. Ask the expert.
Yes, we are. Did you go over your suggested resources? Did I miss that?
I don't know where that was.
It should have been right before your action items.
Okay, well, my suggested resources are, we must have skipped through it. I didn't mean to.
That's all right.
Okay.
Why don't you tell people what your suggested resources are?
Well, first of all, I suggest everybody read Grant Cardone's 10X book.
Grant Cardone's book?
Yeah. I get along fine with Grant. I mean, I don't have, people think that because we're competitors, I mean, he's got a jet, for heaven's sake. Anyway, people think because we're competitive. I've known Grant for many years, and I admire Grant. I have one thing about me personally is for all the flash and glitter and all the all the showing off I do, I really have no envy. I have helped so many people in this business, and I admire people that get ahead. I don't envy them. I don't want what they have. I might want something like what they have. But Grant Cardone wrote an excellent book in the 10X book, and I commend that, and I would recommend that book. And resources, come to my seminars. I've got the best management seminars in the industry, the Ziegler Super Systems seminars, the Sales Manager Seminar, and the Samurai F&I that coming up in Chicago in May. And we're going to be giving away 2 free tickets to that. I like the vendors to sit on the sidelines. We don't want a vendor winning those tickets.
Right,
Let's
right.
let somebody in retail win those tickets because, you know, they're worth $1,000, $995 and some change with the taxes and all good goes up over $1,000 when I sell them. So, you know, please let somebody that really needs those tickets win them. And when I was starting out in the industry a long time ago, I was a big fan of Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. That was one of my favorites. You know, I love Think and Grow Rich. Anything a person can conceive and believe you can achieve, and belief is a mindset. I believed that Ziegler Super Systems was going to be a national company long before we were. You know, most of the things happen in your head. So we got a question. Yeah. Success is a thought process, for heaven's sake. You know, you've got to believe that you can do it, and you've got to have that successful mind. You know, success is a decision. Everybody listening to this webinar, watching this webinar, you are a success. But the thing is, you are not the success that you are capable of being. You're better than you're doing, including me, including you. Everyone out there, you're better. You can do more. You can be more. You can have more. You can reach farther. You can stretch more. You're not getting all you can get because you're not doing all you can do. And that's a wonderful thing to celebrate that. Because if you think you're doing the best job you can do, you're getting all you can get. You're never going to get anything else. You got to believe you can do more, be more, have more, achieve more. And that was success is a mindset. And teaching people that is something that I've spent a whole career doing. What kind of questions have we got coming in?
We got a lot of questions, and we have a lot of great comments as well.
Do them all. Do them all. I'll be here till the sun sets, whatever you want.
I love the motivational part of your presentation. Thank you, sir. Chris wrote in, we can all do more. And David wrote in, I'm not getting all you can get because you're not doing all you can do. He's posting that on his monitor. So, Tanner wanted to know, what was the name of the recommended book again?
The 10X book by Grant Cardone, or Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill?
Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
In the 30s,
really?
But it's a mindset book. It's a book that teaches mindset, and I've read that book. I can't tell you how many times. Of course, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie. I'm going back into the books are written in the 30s.
I've read the Dale Carnegie book like 7 times, I think, or maybe close to 10. I don't remember, but I have them all, highlighted and all that stuff. Kanitra wanted me to know, awesome motivation, Jim. Thank you. Okay. Let's give away a prize first, and then we'll get to all of these great comments.
Let's give it away.
Yeah, go to the next slide, sir.
Well, let's go to the next slide. I can do
That's right. Audience, it's that time. If you missed it at the beginning of the webinar, well, let me just tell you again, I announced that our good friends over at Ziegler Super Systems giving away an amazing prize today. Only one of you lucky webinar attendees today, only one of you is going to win 2 free tickets to either the Sales Manager Seminar or the Samurai F&I Seminar that's coming up in Chicago next month. All right, so just so you know, May 16th and 17th is for the Samurai F&I Seminar, and May 18th and 19th is the Sales Manager Seminar. So you get 2 tickets. So you can yourself attend both, or you can bring a friend who will also, they'll attend one, you attend the other, however you want to work this out. I want to be sure you understand what you're getting into. These tickets are $1,000 a piece. This is not a cheap prize by any means, but this prize also does not include hotel or travel. The seminars are in Chicago, so you still have to book your plane and find some place to lay your head, all right? Tremendous prize for your dealership, just incredible. But I'm going to ask, if you are not serious about attending this amazing event, please do not try to win these tickets. Please leave it for somebody who really wants to go and who can get a lot out of it. If you are not serious about winning this prize, please do not try to win it, okay? Because we won't have another chance to give these tickets away, all right? Of course, this prize is intended only for dealership personnel. So if you are a vendor, we're going to ask you also to please sit this one out. This prize is intended only for dealership personnel. All right? All right, everyone. We got one question. Okay, we have people already in very, very serious. I'm winning this. All right, here we go. Good luck, everyone. I hope you type fast. So excited. According to Jim Ziegler's expert advice from earlier in the presentation, where did he suggest you begin your journey into management? Oh my goodness. Yes, yes, yes. The answer is F&I. Hold on. Let me scroll up here. Oh my goodness. Who is the first person?
How many got it?
Let me ask you something. What does F&I stand for?
Finance and insurance.
So if somebody wrote in finance, is that a good answer?
That would be the right answer. Yeah, finance is cool.
James Srail. I don't even know how you say that last name, but that's how it's spelled. James Srail. You are today's winner. Let me write your name down. James Srail. You and a friend, or maybe just you, depends on how you want to do it, are going to the Samurai F&I conference and or the Sales Manager Training Conference in Chicago next month. James,
send me his email address. Send it to me.
Srail. Yes, James, I would love to know what dealership you're from, sir. You were the first one to write in the correct response. F&I. You wrote in finance. I'm taking it. All right. He is with Bob Jass Chevrolet.
Yeah, I know that dealership.
Jass. Okay, great. Where is it? Where is it?
Oh, you would ask. I have some private groups on Facebook, and he's in one of my private
Oh, look how lucky he is. It's in Elburn, Illinois. I think he's going to make it to Chicago.
Oh, yeah. It's in Mannheim. It's very close to Chicago. It's a suburb of Chicago. It's in Mannheim.
Oh, you guys, let me just say, James, you are in for a treat. Yes, we're going to have the good people over at Ziegler Super Systems get in touch with you so that you can get your hands on those free tickets. Enjoy the show, sir. You just won a tremendous prize, not just for your dealership, but definitely for yourself and your own career. So congratulations.
What position does he have? What position?
James, what are you at the, oh, he's very excited. All right, get back to your keyboard, James. Tell me, what is your current job title, if you wouldn't mind, sir? I am a sales consultant looking to move to finance. Oh, look at you.
You're about to get the most effective F&I training you've ever seen. Thousands of closes, thousands of word tracks. You're going to love this.
James, congratulations. As a matter of fact, you know what? Maybe while you're in it and even after you're done, you should probably post some stuff onto social media so we can see what it was all about and how much you got out of it. I think that would be great. We'd love to know how that worked out for you, okay, James? And I'll be pulling for you, sir. Good luck in your foray into management. Now, for all the rest of you, I know we only had one prize today, one really awesome prize. But you know what? We give away cool prizes every week. So today wasn't your day. It's all right. Come on back to another DealerOn webinar, and that might be the day that you win a cool prize on a DealerOn webinar. For right now, we're congratulating James from Bob Jass Chevrolet on his big win. And of course, we want to say thank you for your generosity to our good friends over at Ziegler Super Systems. All right, everyone. Now, it's time to get to your questions. Jim, let's go to the next slide, if you wouldn't mind, sir.
Right there.
All right. The first one came in nice and early, the first question, and it comes in from Richie. And maybe you answered it after he wrote it in, but it's the first question, and I read all questions. So here we go. Richie wrote in, so what's the best way to move from sales to F&I?
Okay, from sales to F&I. First of all, you've got to get somebody to send you to an F&I school. And or you buy my F&I textbook, which is on the ZieglerSuperSystems.com website. ZieglerSuperSystems.com. I've written a 150-page F&I textbook. No fill in the blanks, textbook. All the word tracks and closes are in the book. ZieglerSuperSystems.com. Super Systems, all one word, ZieglerSuperSystems.com, Ziegler, Z-I-E. That's one way, but you got to get somebody to send you to an F&I school. Now, most of the service contract companies have F&I schools. The best way is to volunteer to be the backup F&I manager when the F&I managers are off. If you're in a store that has limited F&I coverage, that you're a salesperson most of the time, but during peak overload times or times when the F&I manager is off, you become the F&I manager, switch hats, and you become the assistant F&I manager during that period of time. That's a great way to break into it if your management will agree to it.
All right. Richie, I hope that helped you out. This is solid advice coming in from the legendary Jim Ziegler. So if you have a follow-up question, we'd love to know more. Oh, come on. You are a legend. Come on. All right. Kanitra, okay, similar question from Kanitra. She says, I'm new to automotive and started out as a BDC rep. And then my manager was promoted to sales manager. So they promoted me to BDC manager. And I like it. Don't get me wrong. But how do I move upward in a small company where advancement isn't common? Again, this is from Kanitra, who, by the way, comes to a lot of my webinars, so be nice to her.
Okay, Kamitra, let's talk about that. You're in a small company, not a lot of room for advancement. You've got to set a track record. So many people with no track record want to be managers. You're new to the business. Now you're the BDC director, for heaven's sake. You probably got that position too soon. So now you've got to mature in your position, and you got to put the numbers on the board. You got to document your numbers. Because if you go to another dealership at another time, you've got to have documentable production that you did at a previous dealership. As a GSM, I never, ever, ever held it against somebody that moved to another dealership because they were taking an advancement. If you're moving up, then I had no problem with you moving out. But you are probably premature where you're at. Don't be impatient. You got time. Let's build a track record. Let's document your track record, and then you're ready to move to another position. And in the meantime, attend the seminars. I've got hundreds of videos online. I've got one video called How to Work a Car Deal by Jim Ziegler. It's on YouTube. It's free. Just go to Google up How to Work a Car Deal by Jim Ziegler, and it's 45 minutes long, and it's got 600,000 views. People use it for their training in a lot of dealerships. I have a lot of things online right now that I've done, and I try to give away all my stuff. I mean, I'm here to help you.
Okay, Kanitra, by the way, wrote in, she agrees. Okay, thank you. Awesome. Thank you so much. And then you mentioned your video, and oh my goodness. Okay, Jennifer wrote in, it's the best video ever. Awesome video, YouTube video. I share it with people all the time. Oh my goodness. All right. So apparently, Kanitra, go check out this video. All right, Kanitra, always love having you on the show, pretty lady. So never hesitate to reach out to me or Jim Ziegler if there's anything at all that we can possibly do for you. But best of luck, my friend.
I'm accessible. I like to help people. I'm accessible.
Of course you are.
You can find me.
Okay, okay, let's go to the next question. Well, not really a question. Okay, Ron wrote in, F&I is the one that gets called when something is messed up on a deal, not the sales managers. So, all right, here's my question. This is what I want to know. Now, again, my background is in broadcasting, and I've never worked at a dealership. So I was like, oh, what does a desk manager do? Manage desks? Yes. Okay, so here's my question. So you laid out, okay, start with the F&I, then go to, you know, a sales manager, then go to a general. Okay, can you skip? Is there any of them that you can skip, or no, you have to hit all those points because you learn something different from all of those different positions?
If you've been a sales manager, you might be able to skip used car manager. Because most used car managers are professional, and they generally stay in that position most of their career because it's a position that has a high reliance. The dealer relies on that person. So used car managers generally don't advance. I mean, now there's exceptions to every rule. That there are general managers that were used car managers, but everybody has to be a sales manager. And being a sales manager, part of that is being a desk manager, but that's only part of the job.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Ron, I love your quote. Thank you so much. And by the way, Kanitra, I know you're still out there. We actually had a couple people who wrote in stuff just for you. For instance, Dave wrote in, it's tough to know when to cut bait or stay in. Having 13 years in promotions, what is a factor to determine whether to leave if you're not getting where you want to go within a dealership after a long commitment? And Chris followed up with, you got to get your mind right. I read and listen to books every single day. And sometimes you have to move stores to move up. Always consider other stores within the group if possible. So there you go. So Jim, you had mentioned moving, but only when you're ready and you have a proven track record. So
Yes,
somebody
right
like
now a proven track
Dave,
record.
who's been there for 13 years, when is it time to move? When do you feel like you're too big of a fish and you need a bigger pond?
Probably 4 years ago. Um, I was in a seminar one time, Eliana, where I had 6 managers from one company in the room. And this company is small town dealerships. They've got about 7 locations. And
Hmm.
the general manager of all these managers was in the room. And incidentally, he had married the dealer's daughter. You know, and
Okay.
okay. And one of the managers said, "How do I get advanced in this company?" I said, "Well, it's kind of limited. I don't think the dealer has any more daughters."
Oh, no.
Yeah,
That's a
and by the
solid
way,
point. I'm not gonna
I
lie.
think there's people on this webinar right now, and they're all laughing. But
I mean,
he took
it's
it
one
tough.
of it's one of the last, I mean, there aren't a lot of companies out there who can really get away with nepotism, but dealerships do it constantly, all the time, and unabashedly. So, I mean, I feel like they do.
A lot of dealer siblings are well qualified. The dealer started them out in a wash rack, and I never say just because you're a second generation dealer that you're unqualified. But some of those people I call the Lucky Sperm Club. They won a race one time and haven't done anything since. No.
The stuff that comes out of your mouth, Jim, I don't know whether I should smile or roll my
I
eyes. Oh
am
my
totally
goodness.
not PC. You know,
Not PC.
and if you don't understand sarcastic humor, you will not like me.
Oh, no, no, don't worry about it. I got a husband. He's from New Jersey. I'm good. All right, here we go. Next, next one. All right, let's see. Wendell wrote in, what do you think about the folks pushing product specialists, where they're doing the whole transaction from first contact to delivery?
What, have you lost your mind? I mean, quit it. I mean, there are some of these new age happy clappy fools out there trying to let salespeople do F&I. The F&I is the legal protector of the dealership, the policeman of the dealership, the people that have to be sure that you are compliant with the laws, and you're going to let salespeople do it. You can't even get your salespeople to put all the information in the damn CRM, and you're going to have them doing F&I and exposing the dealer. Have you lost your mind? I mean, these new age happy clappy people, get out of my space.
Well, Wendell, I guess that answers your question.
And they always use the one
I'm
like
sorry Jim was so ambiguous with his answer.
The customer experience. Get out of here.
Okay, here we go. All right, we have some additional snarky remarks from AJ. He wrote in, you can't lead a team if you can't be part of a team. There's one. He also followed up with, damn right, you need to respect the internet department. It's still just driving ups and ROs. Yep. And then he also followed up with, there are a lot of PhDs in the car business. Papa had a dealership.
Or Pizza Hut delivery.
Oh, stop. All right. All right. AJ, I always love hearing from you, my friend. I'll see you in Tampa, sir. Okay. Then we have some comments that came in from Ron. Oh, somebody else. Oh, Ron wrote one in. PhD, poor, hungry, and determined. Actually, I like that one, Ron. All right. Ron said, most managers know nothing about the CRM, and they throw all of those responsibilities onto the BDC Internet Manager. They say they desk deals, not call customers, so that they don't need to learn the CRM. Kanitra's right behind you, Ron. Kanitra says, oh, I wish management would use the CRM. Only a couple salesmen do. Otherwise, only myself as BDC and Internet Sales Manager use it 24/7. How can I encourage management to use the CRM? They only got a CRM back in June when I started at the dealership. Jim, what do you tell people like Kanitra and Ron where the CRM is?
I don't tell Kanitra and Ron anything. I shut the door on the dealer principle. Now, as dealers see me as a peer because I've been in the top management. They pay me big money to advise them how to run their dealerships. I'll shut a door on a dealer and say, "What the hell are you thinking? you're letting your managers do this and do that, and they're dominating the BDC or vice versa. Or, I got departments where everybody's stealing from everybody else. I've got used car managers stealing from the new car department stealing from the F&I department, used car department stealing from everybody. Quit it. You should make your money from retail customers, not taking it from other departments, moving money across the ledger. And that's where most dealerships are crawling all over themselves to steal each other department's money. No, money comes from retail customers, not from each other. And I'll tell dealers in a heartbeat, F&I is not the sales manager's secretary. That's the most highly trained department in the dealership. The BDC, the website is your showroom. You work for DealerOn, one of the most competent website builders in the industry. And most of these manufacturers today are pushing websites that are basically crap. And they don't convert customers. The website is the showroom. Google is the weapon. I could go on a whole another webinar about all of that.
Yeah.
I have to shut a door on a dealer. I don't get things done by talking to the managers, and I get things done by talking to the dealer and letting it dribble on down what we discussed.
Right. So Jennifer wrote in, she says, wow, Ron, Kenitra, that's a huge mistake. The CRM is the key to making your dealership the most profitable it can be. And Tim said, these dealers need to get out of the business if they're not using their CRM.
And get the people out of the business that won't use the CRM. It is the heartbeat of the dealership. It is the lifeblood. It is the culture. Marry your CRM. One of the first things I do as a consultant to dealers is I put everybody on the CRM and make sure they have a good CRM. There's three really great CRMs in the market. Three. You got Vin Solutions, which is good, and I'm not a big fan of Cox companies, but I like Vin Solutions well enough. Dealer Socket, eLeads. Those are the three that I basically recommend the most. There's other CRMs out there, but be aware, get a lot of references on any vendor before you hire them.
Sure. Okay, Ron followed up with, most managers haven't ever worked in the BDC or the internet department, so they really just don't understand what we do in there. I started at a dealership to clean up the BDC and internet department, and I think Ron is looking to get now into management. So Ron, my question to you is, thinking about going into F&I? I'm waiting, Ron.
Yeah. Is this good or what?
He says, I have been in sales and F&I and GSM, sales manager. Let's do it, babe.
Let's do it, by all means.
All right, so now how many more steps does Ron need to take before he's finally ready to
when
be
you
a
say
GM?
you have done all of those things, see, the one thing, I don't know Ron. I can't jump through the monitor here and see. Does Ron have a track record, or did he just occupy a position? And I'm not insulting him in any way, but just because you've had a position, do you have a track record in that position? I know a lot of people that have been in positions and frankly weren't that great at it, and you got to have a track record. When I set the records in F&I, I consciously went after the records. I mean, people, I was fortunate enough to be with Dyer and Dyer Volvo when we went from 60 units to 850 units in a year and a half, and I wasn't the driving force. I wasn't the general manager. I was one of the managers, but I participated in that, and that probably set the stage. That dealership was Camelot. And I learned so much about total dealership management rather than focused one department, one position, desk manager, whatever.
Right. Okay, so Ron said he started as a green pea 7 years ago, and now he has a firm track record, and he was specifically hired to clean up the BDC and internet department since he was so successful at those other jobs. You know how it is. They take the. I know. Let me ask you something, Jim. Seriously. You know how dealerships take like the best salesperson on the team, and they're like, "Hey, I'm going to put you in management." Is that a good idea? Is that what they should be doing?
Sometimes.
Really?
Once again, we got to get
just
back
because
to
they're
that.
a good salesperson, does that mean they're going to be a good manager?
No, that's the same. Let me finish that sentence now, because sometimes, yes, but do they have the management mindset? some people who are the top salespeople
Do they want
that
to make less
loose
money?
cannon. Well, sometimes you have to make less money to move up to more money. You know, the top positions make more than the top salespeople, but the intermediate management positions do not. It all depends on what you want, what you're comfortable with, how much responsibility and how much stress you can take. You know, it's not easy being a manager. You get people shooting at you. There's all sorts of stress and responsibilities. Being a manager is a special mindset. And there's people in this audience right now who are already managers who are taking this webinar to find out how to move up. They're already there. They're already sales managers, desk managers, F&I managers. There's people in this audience today. Identify yourselves on your keyboard, people who are already managers looking to move up.
Okay, so Ron said, that's exactly what happened to me. I was the #1 salesman 3 years in a row out of 500 salesmen in the group covering Oklahoma, Texas, Kansas, and Tennessee. And then they plucked him out of mere obscurity and put him into a management position.
What kind of training?
Oh, and then he goes on, enough about me. This is all about Jim.
Oh, shucks. Love me. Yeah.
Okay, and Kanitra wrote back in, oh, I would love to talk more with Ron. I have some additional questions for him regarding BDC. Will you provide him my info? Okay, Ron says they wanted me to train everyone else to follow in my footsteps. And Joel wrote in, he says, I'm already a manager, but I'm looking to move up. So there you go.
That's the audience that I'm also interested in. You know, there's several audiences here. There are salespeople wanting to move into management, and there's managers looking to move up. So we got several things here.
Okay. Well, we do have to get the last couple of questions closed out, and then we have to start, closing out the show. But thank you so much for all of that information. Ron, best of luck, my friend. I hope this helped you out. Okay, next question is from Tim. He says, Jim, I had a conversation this morning with someone discussing F&I and how our surveys are affected. Do dealers put too much pressure on F&I to make high back end to the point where F&I people become obnoxious and piss customers off? Or is there a balance?
Well, the problem with F&I is I get it all the time. The sales department's had these people for 4 hours. They've wrung them out. They're stressed out. And then they find out that they're sitting on the couch for 20 minutes and the F&I, they can't get into F&I. They're wondering where they are. By the time they come in, they're already got an attitude. And the salesperson's TO sounds like this. Hey, listen, Ziegler, I really need this deal. Don't blow these people out. I never blew anybody out, but every TO you get, the salesperson, don't blow these people out. Quit it. The setup pisses people off more than the actual F&I event. Mm-hmm. There's more paperwork in an F&I department today than buying a house.
Come on. There's a lot of paperwork in buying a house.
No,
seriously?
No, you should see that. My friend Gil Vanover one time taped all the paperwork in the F&I office back to back. It was 75 feet long. I'm telling you right now, the regulations, the safeguards we have to do. F&I is the policeman of the dealership. You are the policeman of the dealership. You have to keep the dealership legally compliant. I mean, there's people going to jail today. I mean, the stuff that's done in dealerships, we used to get slapped on the wrist, have to pay the car off. Today, they're putting people in jail. And you better have a good F&I manager to keep you legal unless you personally want to become the bride of Big Bubba.
The what? Okay.
The bride of Big Bubba.
All right. Stop. All right. Okay. Next question comes in from Tanner. Next question comes in from Tanner. Tanner says, as a 21-year-old son of a dealer interested in this business, he's interested. What should be my first step into F&I?
Well, your first step should be backup F&I manager and delivering cars on peak periods. And I take it you're selling cars. I hope you are. And I think this whole webinar has outlined your career path. And as a son of a dealer, you should, and all humor aside, you should go through all the departments in the dealership, including the service department. You need to spend some time as a service writer. You know, you need to learn all the aspects, and you probably need, if you haven't already, get the NADA Academy and some of the dealer schools that are out there. A lot of Northwood graduates, which is the only real car college in the world. You know, there's all kinds of things to educate yourself.
Okay, Tanner, do you have a follow-up question? You got a lot of stuff to do, my friend. All right, next question comes in from Ron, and he says, shouldn't managers leave their desks and early in the buying process meet the customer and do a soft close, or should they just stay being the man behind the current and not talking to the customer? I know the answer, but what is your thought on this?
I don't recommend a soft close. But what I do recommend is, and I teach it in my seminars, I want managers to manage by walking around like a shark that never stops swimming. If you're not in a deal, you're not on your seat. And you should touch every customer often and early before you are in combat. Meet the customer early. I stand 20 feet away and I say, hi folks, you having a good experience? Are my salespeople treating you good? Are you having a good experience? And when I say they're my salespeople, I don't say, hi, I'm the manager. No, are my people doing a good job? You having a good experience? I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. They're not hearing that anywhere else. I'm glad you, but I'm standing 20 feet away because I don't want to get in a conversation with them. I don't want to try to close the deal. They haven't even selected a car yet, and I'm touching the customer. Quit it. You know, there's a progression. And I want the people to know I'm the manager. I'm close by. I've already acknowledged you. I'm not hiding from you. Too many managers today got seat belts on their chairs so they don't accidentally fall out. Quit it.
All right, Ron, I hope that answers your question. Okay, last couple of questions, and then we're going to close out the show. Not really a question. Kenitra wanted to write in. She says, Jim is awesome, though, and I thank him for his resources. I want to be the best at what I do before I move up. But thank you again, Jim.
Thank you.
All right. Follow-up from Tanner. He says, Jim, appreciate the advice. Can't wait to follow up and learn the departments and grow into becoming an understanding manager. I'm so glad I was offered this webinar. Thank you, Tanner. Good luck, my friend. All right. And Ron said, this is exactly what I was looking for. Okay. Okay. Last question comes in from today's winner, James. James, again, James, seriously, a lot of people were jealous that you won those tickets. I'm not going to lie. They're gunning for you, my friend. Okay, James wrote in, from a consumer standpoint, last question, by the way, what is the expected amount of time for a typical F&I deal to be done? We can expect a minimum 2 hours at a minimum. Some run over 3 hours at our dealership. Customers get frustrated and they just want to be done. What is a good goal for time?
Okay, 3 hours.
Other than saying as short as possible.
3 hours. Now, does that include getting into the F&I office, or is that when they're actually in front of the manager?
It sounds like it's just the F&I deal.
Okay, well then, go to your dealer and say, why haven't you sent all those people to Ziegler School? I turn the deal in 45 minutes.
What? 45 minutes?
I'm a menu-driven trainer, and there are word tracks and closes and things you can say. The F&I schools today are not teaching people how to sell product. They're teaching people how to sell menus. I use a menu to sell products, word tracks, the things you say to the consumer. Words are your toolbox. And my seminars have thousands of closes in the word tracks. The things you say to the consumer. The consumers haven't invented any new questions. And when you got an F&I manager taking 3 hours to pound out a deal, I don't agree with that. I mean, I'm a 45-minute turn.
Oh my God, 3 hours. That's, I mean, I've gone to a fancy 4-star restaurant and had dinner and drinks and dessert in less than that time. I'd rather be doing that.
I take 3 or 4 hours. That's a buffet. I scare the hell out of them.
All right, James.
Go Frau, I'm banned.
Okay, So James says it's really bad at our dealership, but I have a huge opportunity here. So I don't know. James might be attending your F&I. I guess we'll find out, right, James? Okay, I do want to close out with a few other comments that came in. Andrew, it's my brother's name. Hey, Andrew, does anyone call you Smushy? Or no, just me? Okay. Okay, so Andrew wrote in, Jim, Jim, I graduated from Northwood University, and we had the pleasure to have you speak at our auto show. I also have a copy of the prosperity equation that I just read again last month. By the way, great webinar. Thank you so much, Andrew.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Andrew.
that.
Thank you. Thank you. I loved speaking at Northwood. Have me back anytime. When I can speak to the young would-be dealers that are going to full college to get that skill, I love doing that keynote. And thank you.
I love it. Okay, and then Ron wrote in, I am super jealous. I was so looking forward to winning those tickets, LOL. Jim is the first trainer I found on YouTube, and I wanted to know how to become a manager, and I studied his training video for weeks and weeks. I knew about Jim before I have ever even heard of Grant Cardone, but thank you so much, Jim. Great webinar. Thank you, Ron. Thank you so much. And by the way, our winner, James, not to rub it in, Ron, I'm so sorry, but our winner, James, said for sure F&I. He's definitely going to go to the F&I one. So, oh, and he said, sorry, Ron. Okay, with that, Mr. Ziegler, epic webinar today, my friend. Always awesome to have you on the show. Thank you so much. I'm so looking forward to seeing you in Tampa, sir.
See you there.
Okay, you got it. All right, any last-minute words of advice before we let you go?
No, I've had such great energy. I'm exhausted. This was a great. This is what I live for.
That's right. My job is to make you sweat, Jim.
all the people I've helped through the years, and I hear the testimonials coming back to me. And like you mentioned in the beginning, I'm 70 years old, but I'm still very active. I mean, I went to my class reunion last year, 50th high school reunion, and a bunch of old people snuck in. They were wearing they had my friends' name badges on. I couldn't believe it. I saw some of those old girls I dated 50 years ago. I said, boy, I dodged a bullet there.
Stop. That's not nice.
No, it's not.
Seriously, I never know what's going to come out of your mouth, man.
I love the legacy I'm leaving to the business, all the people I've helped. I really appreciate the fact that.
All right. Yeah. Jim, we thank you so much for being here. I'm sure it won't be long before we have you back on the show again to give some more wonderful advice. All right, I want to remind the audience a link to download a copy of today's webinar recording is going to be emailed to you later today for your reference. Please feel free to share it with your friends and colleagues. It's also going to be posted online within 24 hours. You can go to dealeron.com/webinars, and up there you're going to be able to see our upcoming webinar schedule or access any of our past webinars too. All right, and in just another moment, you're going to get a very short survey. Please fill it out. It is 3 very short questions. We want to know what you thought of today's presentation. Did you love it? Yes. Well, we need to know. So write it down for us, okay? And Jim Ziegler is going to be talking up the storm at the upcoming Digital Dealer Convention. He's going to be presenting an executive session titled 20 Things I Would Do Immediately If I Bought Your Dealership. You are not going to want to miss this, people. You're going to want to see the kinds of things that are going to roll out of Jim's mouth, because let me tell you, you never know what's going to come. All right. Not to be outdone, DealerOn is also headed to Tampa next week for the upcoming Digital Dealer Convention, April 11th through the 13th. We're bringing some heat, baby. We're going to be giving away $50 for pre-scheduling a demo at the show. That's not all. We got Sean.
These guys are great. These guys are phenomenal. Sean and Gifford, the bad boys, they are absolutely. Every one of my conferences, these guys are headliners. They are super experts like you wouldn't believe.
Thank you so much. Yes, the bad boys of automotive are going to be at it again. They're going to be giving in-depth presentations. They're going to rock your world. Stop by booth 411. Say hi to me. But also, Greg Gifford's going to hand you a hard copy of his new book that he wrote on local SEO. I'm not kidding, people. It is 60-plus pages of awesomeness that you must have. Trust me. Remember, it's 411, booth 411. I hope to see you there. And not to be outdone, invitations will be going out tomorrow for our next DealerOn webinar, where an expert from Google is going to share how to leverage data to win with YouTube. If you're not using YouTube yet to improve your traffic, customer loyalty, branding, or sales, well, then you're missing out on an enormous opportunity. Wait no longer. The expert is here, and he's ready to help. Join Tim Mueller from Google as he presents a powerful 1-hour webinar on how Google's data plus YouTube's latest release, TrueView, can drive swift and dramatic results for your dealership. Tim will discuss website video strategies and best practices that drive conversion and sell more cars. Attendees of this fast-paced presentation will learn how to leverage Google's data and YouTube to reach in-market customers at the right time. And when done right, viewers see videos they're curious about, you get more views from an audience you know is interested, and since you choose what you want to pay for a view, you get the right audience at the right price. That's what we call a win-win-win, people. Are you ready to win on YouTube? Don't miss this opportunity to hear from an expert from Google discuss how Google Data plus YouTube TrueView will help you sell more cars. Don't forget, DealerOn's weekly webinars are held Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific. If you have questions, comments, or suggestions regarding our webinars and our topics, hey, I'd love to hear from you. I'm everywhere online. Track me down. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, you name it. I'm all over the place. I'm on all the automotive social networks, just like Jim Ziegler is. But you know what? It's probably easier if you just email me directly at eliana@dealeron.com. Thank you all so very much for spending this time with us today, and I hope to see you all on another webinar in our continuing education series. Take care.
Thank you.